tonight's episode, we will have our special guest, Kwinetta Moore. She actually is a graduate of North Carolina Agriculture and Technical State University, so Aggie Pride. I'm excited to bring her on tonight because she's going to be talking to us. She's actually a business coach and an educator, so whoop whoop. Shout out to all the educators, but she's also a business coach. She is actually one of my business coaches, and very well versed in branding, well versed when it comes to making your name known and all these different wonderful things that she does. And so she's going to be joining us on tonight. But before she does join us on this evening, just want to see, hear from our audience tonight some of the things that you're thankful for as we're in the Thanksgiving season. And I'm so excited. This is one of my favorite holidays, but Christmas, of course, is my number one. Like, if you know me, I am big on Christmas. Love everything Christmas. I was just watching a Christmas movie. Go figure. But she's actually going to be with us tonight. But I'm going to also talk about, that's why I'm sorry, I don't jump back to introducing Kwinetta, but I wanted to see what are some of the things that you all are thankful for. So if you can put that in the chat box, share with us some of the things that you are thankful for. I am excited. I am thankful for family. My family actually does not live in North Carolina. Of course, my entire family is actually in New York, with the exception of my sister and I. And so I am definitely missing my family. So I'm thankful for family. I'm thankful for gainful employment. I am thankful for health. I am thankful for, life and life more abundantly. I am just thankful. I really am. I've always been in an attitude, I've always had an attitude of gratitude, but this year 2020 has made me up my level of gratitude. Even in the midst of all the things that are happening, from the pandemic to the racial injustice to the political, I hate to use the word war, but that's what's going on. And so just regardless of what's happening, I'm just thankful. I really am thankful. I'm thankful for life. I'm thankful for health, and I'm thankful for gainful employment. So let us know on this evening what you are thankful for. Drop it in the chat box. Let us know how thankful you are. What things are you thankful for? What are you grateful for? What are you excited about? What are you looking forward to in this Thanksgiving, this upcoming Thanksgiving? I know there's one state, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's Wisconsin, who actually told people they can't get it for Thanksgiving. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to fly, but okay. Right. And so with all the things that are going on in different individuals' lives, we want to make sure that we are not, putting putting more stress and more pressure on individuals' mental stability by telling them we can't get it for Thanksgiving. Ludicrous to me. But we are thankful. I see Lauren Huggins, she put on here that she's thankful for family and keeping her healthy. So our guest of honor is here on tonight. I'm actually going to shoot her into the live so that you all can see her beautiful face and wonderful spectacularness coming off of her. So, ladies and gentlemen, our guest of honor on tonight is Kwinetta Moore, and she is. I'm going to actually turn the floor over to her because I know she's about to drop some gems on us tonight. You all know that it takes 10 diamonds to find one ruby, and this is a ruby right here. She's
Oh,
a kind, y'all, and I'm telling you, the knowledge that she's about to give y'all tonight, you better get your pen and pencil out. Make sure that you follow her. You can see the tape that the taper that's running across the screen, so you'll know where to follow her. You can find her on her website, www.theclassycoach.com, or at the Classy Coach on Instagram. She's also on Twitter. She's also on Facebook. I just couldn't fit them all in there. But I'm gonna make sure that I put that in the description once we edit and post this video on YouTube for the days to come. So Kwinetta, take it on over, honey bun.
hey everybody. I am still trying to. It's funny because in my mind I was really gonna get dressed, and if you hear kids crying in the background, those are my babies. My husband is putting them to sleep. Usually that's my thing, so it's a little different because Daddy's doing bath time tonight. Um, I feel at home. I'm super excited to talk about my journey. My journey has changed drastically over the course of the past 4 or 5 months, and I still don't know how I feel about it yet. But I'm gonna share it with you. I am Kwinetta Maria Moore. I was getting ready to say Murray. Murray's my maiden name, but I'm Kwinetta Moore. I did attend North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University, class
Aggie
of
Pride.
2011. Yes, Aggie Pride, y'all. I love, love, love my alma mater. My husband, I think that he has Aggie pride now too. So it's a whole thing. So I went to A&T. I got my undergrad in music. And people, I don't know, I kind of feel like it's common knowledge, but then again it's not, because I share that with people and they're like, I never knew that. But yeah, so I did that. I started teaching. Hey Lauren, I started teaching. I never taught music. I wanted to teach music, but in the education arena, people get into those positions and retire. So I was going to either have to relocate if I wanted to find a teaching job, or, not have a teaching job. So I started teaching language arts, which was cool because I was always a linguist, a wordsmith in high school. So it was cool. And I really took a liking. I love teaching language arts to this day. So I got into public education, and it was slash still is my goal to climb the ranks. And I always want to be an assistant principal. I got my master's in reading literacy. I got my ed specialist in education administration. Then somewhere along that timeline in 2015, I got married. And so I was thinking we were going to live life happily ever after, but that's not how that worked. So my husband, the day before our wedding, he lost his job. He said he went to pick up his check, and there was a separation notice in his check. But I was like, I knew that, the Holy Spirit told me that was going to happen. I didn't know it was going to happen the day before we got married, but it is what it is. So he lost his job, and that started a cycle of job loss. I'm talking about, we've been married 5 years. I want to say it's been, I stopped counting at one time. But I do know it's been between 11 and 13. It's been more than 11. It's been less than 13. And it's not that my husband is a bad worker. My husband, I will always feel like, how come I'm not getting fired? Because I don't like going to work some days. Like, I will get me a day. I will call out. I'm that person. My husband is not. I always had a joke with my husband. I would tell him, if I get sick and, I die, and there have to be a funeral for me, y'all gonna have my funeral after you clock out, because he just loves to go to work. That is him to this day. He just loves to go to work. So I had to figure out what in the world I was gonna do, because the teacher salary is just not it. I don't know. To this day, I don't know why we don't get paid anything.
Honey,
We work hard. We
hard
work
is not even the word.
we work exceptionally hard. Just everything. And it was a lot. So I was working with I'll say back then I maybe had 3 years of experience. So I'll say maybe a $34,000 salary. Mind you, that's with the master's degree. My students will always outperform, great test score data, all of that. Right. So I asked my husband one night, I said, can I buy a Cricut machine? He was like, Kwinetta, that's going to be something else that you put in the closet and not use. And I was like, nah, I'm gonna really do this. So we pulled our money together. I think we may have had in the bank at that time, maybe $300 roughly. We had $300. The Cricut machine is $279. So we went to Walmart one night. It was a Sunday night. I'll never forget. We went to Walmart and we put our money together and we purchased this machine. The next day I called out of work. I told you I will call out of work. I called out of work. I said, because what I am going to do is I'm going to learn how to use this machine. So I'm going to find the picture probably tonight, because I think it'll be a great piece of content for me, because I remember I made my sister-in-law a blue and gold cup, and I did it all wrong, but I said, I'm going to figure out how to use this machine. So I started making cake pans. Everything that I could find on Pinterest to make, I was making. So that kind of turned into, and that year I was making ornaments real heavy. That evolved into t-shirts. And I still do make t-shirts, and I'm trying to stop being a t-shirt lady, but people still ask me to make t-shirts. I started making t-shirts, and it was time for us to do taxes, basically. And the girl does our taxes. She said, well, can you send me your PayPal statement, your PayPal report? She told me how to run a PayPal report. I did not know how to do it. I knew how to generate invoices, but I knew nothing about running a PayPal report. So she said, well, do this, do that, and send it over to me. And she emailed me back and said, do you know how much money you made last year? I was like, no. Basically, I had matched my teaching salary in slinging shirts, cups, whatever I could find to make. Wow. I do know it was almost $30,000 in just, all of it wasn't profit, but that's how much my business had brought in at that time. And then I was pregnant, so I didn't even work the whole year. So that's how I got started. And then it just evolved. I called somebody one day and I was like, how can I do something different? And she planted a seed in me, and she said, you're already influential. People trust what you say. She said, how come? She said, why don't you just teach people how to start their own t-shirt businesses? And I was like, you might be onto something there. And honestly, y'all, that was the start of it all. That was the start of it all. And I'm very grateful that her name is Ashley. I'm so grateful that she planted that seed in me, because to be honest, had it not been for her, I would not be doing what I'm doing today. So that's what I was doing. I started to basically make money. I was monetizing my mind, and that is still what I do. I monetize my mind. My brand has grown. It has changed a whole lot. So this was in my mind, this is what I was doing. So I'm an educator. So I have lots of years of traditional education. I'm a trained educator. I have, training in pedagogy. I have training in classroom management. I know how, not just students, they teach us that what students do, but this is how, how the human mind works. We know that we have different learning modalities. We know that there are certain ways that some kids can take in information and other students can't take in information that way. So I began to use what I knew about education, because technically every single thing that anyone is doing online, if they're showing you how to do something, is educational at the root of it. And I always had an upper hand, or the advantage, because I understood that there was actually, and there is actually, a science behind how people learn, right? So the first thing I did was, the first nugget I want to tell you guys is, if you can't find it, create it. If you can't find it, create it. So what I was doing was, I knew, and I'm so grateful to one of my armor bearers at the church at the time. She would come to my house every single night and help me work. So we packaged orders, we made shirts, we mailed things out. She was like, my assistant. Whatever I needed to do, she helped me do it. And so we had like a little whiteboard in the room, and I would write my orders down. And that's kind of how I processed everything. But I knew that I still was not organized. So I wanted to organize what I did. So I went to, of course, Walmart, Hobby Lobby, and I had about 4 or 5 different planners, and it just was not what I wanted. So I was scrolling on Instagram, and I saw somebody had made a planner, and I said, I can make a planner. I said, I can make a planner for entrepreneurs. And I'm not saying that it was my idea, or I was the first person to do it. But I will say that several other people have done it since I did it. And it's cool, because we all can make money in the same industry. But what I will say is, y'all, I remember I stayed up for 3 nights straight. I stayed up for 3 nights straight, and I made that planner from scratch. There were no templates. Some of the boxes may have been crooked, but I made that planner was 300 some odd pages, and I made that planner from scratch. And that became a whole thing of, I really can make money from finding a gap in the marketplace. And really, essentially, what any business is an answer to a problem.
Hmm.
That's all business is. If you have something that you want to monetize, if you're looking to make some money, find a gap in the marketplace. And it can be a small gap. And one thing about me, I'm all about creativity, right? And I would tell y'all this, I'm doing something on Black Friday. Nobody's on here that may care, but so I was on TikTok. Yeah, I'm a TikTok person. And my husband used to judge me, but for the past hour, he could not even get the kids ready because I heard his ear pods, and I was like, what is he listening to? He's been TikToking for the past 2 hours, right? And I'm talking about, y'all, he used to talk about me so bad, but TikTok for me is market research. I tell you, no lie. I have pages and pages of notes that I get up in the middle of the night from TikTok, because I'm always looking for a gap in the marketplace. So I saw this on TikTok, and I was like, I wonder if I can find it, because you guys know COVID is the thing now. Like, pandemic is popping, pandemic is trendy, unfortunately. So I was thinking, as a mom and even as a teacher. So I found a wholesaler who sells these wristbands you wear like a watch, and basically when you want sanitizer, you just push it and you don't got to open up your purse, and you sanitize your hands, right? So I said, boom, I'm about to get me some. I'm dropping them on Black Friday. That's a gap in the marketplace. You see what I'm saying?
Girl.
Let me tell you.
And me, Miss Germ Freak over here, put me down for about 10.
I got you.
Girl.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
It is all about finding a gap in the marketplace, jumping in that gap, and establishing yourself as the expert. Because even somebody else may have identified the same gap as you. That is a common thing. Okay. A lot of people sometimes feel like, oh, so and so is copying off of me, or and so is doing. Now, people do that foolishness. I ain't gonna sit here and pretend that people don't copy you or don't steal your concepts or bite off of your concepts. But you can always tell someone who is not original, because they will always try to piece what they want to do into they try to piece what they want to do into their business model, but it looks like you. It looks like you. And one thing about me, every single thing that I do is calculated. Some people may say, gosh, she sure does do a lot, but I can assure you, every single thing that I do is This is my husband texting me. Okay, I'm about to go dead. He bringing my charger, y'all. But every single thing I do is calculated, and I don't do anything that's not on brand. And so I keep that in mind. And let me tell you something. It takes little to no skill, believe it or not. I don't care what anybody tells you. It takes little to no skill to package up something and sell it. There are so many, especially now, because remote learning is a thing, y'all. The distance, I'm not gonna say distance learning, but yeah, the distance learning, digital courses is $1 billion a year. It's over $1 billion. I participated in a class this past weekend, and I paid $500 for it, right? And honestly, it was cool, but I mean, it wasn't necessarily worth $500. But that doesn't matter. What matters is how it was packaged and how it was sold. You know, I'm not going to tell you to sell someone a dream, but this is what I would say. When you're trying to sell something, you're not necessarily selling the result. You are selling your expertise, and you are selling your process, right? Because essentially, it took me basically 3 weeks nonstop to create my first business journal, right? So when I started selling classes on how to create a business journal, what people are purchasing from me is not just, because essentially I'm showing them how to get on Canva, how to do et cetera, et cetera. But what I'm showing them is I'm letting you skip 3 whole weeks of guesswork. I'm letting you skip all that and I'm giving you the answer. And you would be surprised at what people sell. I'm going to tell y'all a true story. Hold on, let me plug my computer in. I'm sorry, y'all.
It's okay. And I'm putting in the notes in the chat box, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, y'all can go back and stop, take your own notes, whatever it may be. But I'm also helping you out by being your scribe on tonight. So you
Thank you,
just gotta
Sabrina.
listen.
So, again, I was on TikTok one night and it was a girl on there and she was dead serious. She was telling people, and she had so many comments. She was telling people, she said, if you want to get a sugar daddy, cash at me $25 and I will tell you the steps to take to get a sugar daddy. I sent her a direct message and I said, sis, you need my help because you ain't charging enough. Because let me tell you, it don't have to be something complex for you to make money off of it. I promise you, it does not have to be something. And I think that is a common misconception. People feel like, well, it needs to be something different. No, it needs to be something that you know how to do. Because let me tell you, we all have skills, but Sabrina and I both can know how to create business journals, but we both can put out an equally amazing product with different content. Mm-hmm. And that is what we have to realize. I tell people all the time, you can stand down in saturated market, okay? Because at one time I was going to sell hair because I got so tired because it was a problem for me. Because I am, and another thing to do is pay attention to the type of consumer that you're dealing with. I do order from Amazon, but I am definitely an instant gratification type person. I prefer to go in the store and try on the clothes as opposed to waiting for the clothes to get to me from wherever. You know what I'm saying? I do order because I have a Shein card every other week that I'm, putting in. But for a customer like me, when I go to somebody and I hit them up and say, hey, I need 3 bundles of hair, and they tell me, okay, I can have it to you in 2 days, I'm going to put them on pause. I may buy it from them, but I'm going to buy it from the person who has it on hand. Because I'm that type of consumer. You understand what I'm saying? So it's also important to know who you're dealing with. And it's also important to know that people spend money differently. And like I said, my education gave me the upper hand to really get into this because I teach my students every year about rhetorical appeals, pathos, ethos, and logos, right? So when we watch a commercial on TV, sometimes they may say, for example, if they say 3 out of 4 students at the school are catching coronavirus, you need a Germ-X dispenser, right? That is pulling on somebody's logic, because if you hear that, it becomes logical to purchase whatever they're selling. Mm-hmm. So I began to implement that in my business strategy for when I'm talking to entrepreneurs. I realized that some people have to hear things that are logical, right? So if I tell you, for example, like this is true. This is true because I have a social media class at 9:30. 88% of entrepreneurs don't have a social media strategy. They post what they feel like posting when they wake up in the morning, right? So I had some people who signed up for my class, I promise you, because they realized, man, that does make sense. I don't have a strategy. I'm just posting to be posting. So sometimes you have to pull on, that type of thing. And I think that greatness it's such a process. Like it is. I told someone just a week ago, I feel like I'm just now, like I have just now solidified like what my niche is, what I do and what I don't do. Because over time it's gonna change. It's gonna change. And I'm appreciative for people who have had grace as I figured out when I'm doing, because you have to really value people who trust you and trust what you have in you to even patronize you. Because let
Mhm.
me tell you, times are hard for a lot of people,
Mhm.
but at the same time, people are still spending money. To be completely honest with you, I have seen more money in a global pandemic than I've ever seen in my life.
That part.
And
That part.
me and my husband sometimes try to figure it out, like, well,
Mhm.
what happened? Like, how did this happen? Let me tell you,
Mhm.
people, and to be honest, it wasn't, I'm not sure if it was people's stimulus, I don't know what it is, but I've made more money during this time than I've ever had in my business. And for me, I had a situation. Now I'm gonna tell everybody what it is when it's over, because I can't right now. But that situation I dealt with in July, August, and so I didn't go back to work because I was not able to go back to work, and so I was scared out of my mind, because every single thing that I've ever done has been traditional, every single thing, you know. And so I'm like, I mean, am I gonna go work at Zaxby's? Like, it seemed like every other thing I was overqualified for. Um, and even now I'm looking into some other options, but I said, okay, Lord, and I'm talking about, y'all, I laid in my bed for 4 days. Like, I did not eat, I did not do much of anything. And my husband came back there one day and he was like, not no more. You got to get out this bed and you got to really, this the cards that we've been dealt. So
Mhm.
you got to make it happen. And in that moment, I do think that a lot of times you will not realize how great you are until realizing how great you are is your only option.
Hmm.
Because
That's good.
as a teacher or as an educator, which I still am, that's what I had to do, because that's what I signed my name on the dotted line to do, is to educate. And my last year I was a academic coach, so I coached teachers, and which was right down my alley. But I'm being what somebody else has hired me to do, even though I have a passion for it. Although I have a passion for it, how can I? And I found myself some days I would literally lay in my bed and say, "Do I want to go to work or do I want to stay home and do my business?" I'm even still at that place now. Like, okay, am I going back to work next year? Like, what am I going to do? But I realized that I am able to do it. Like, one of my friends called me the other day, I think it was last week, and I said, Ashley, I said, I'm doing it. I'm not gonna say that I like it. I love doing it, but I don't like the uncertainty of it because it's one thing when every 2 weeks. When I worked in Carolina, we got paid once a month. I'm not sure if they still do that. Okay, y'all still get paid
Once.
once a month. See, when I moved back home, they put us on a bi-weekly schedule. I was so excited. So I knew that at the end of every month, I was getting a check. I knew that I had insurance if I got sick. Basically, I feel like sometimes I'm out here winging it. And sometimes there is a mental anguish that accompanies that. But I wouldn't trade that for anything, because right now being great is my only option,
Mhm.
because I can't fail. I don't have any other option but to be great. And I would encourage everyone to really, examine where you are in life and think about if you whether or not you have prioritized realizing your greatness. Because a lot of times we put that on the back burner to do what we're hired to do,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
We put that on the back burner because we're hired to be, a real estate agent, or we're hired to be an attorney, or whatever it is that we're hired to do. That is what we do. That's what we do. And not to say that you cannot be great in what you're hired to do or what you're passionate about. But I 150% believe that there is a level of greatness that's in all of us that sometimes we don't even know until we're forced to realize it. And
Right.
so for me, that was my process. Now, when we think about branding, okay, when we think about branding, and I have to tell people this all the time, branding is not your logo. Contrary to what
That part.
popular belief, you know, people think that it is your logo. When people hit me up and say, "Hey, I'm starting my business. I want a logo." Not, I want to strategize for how to build my brand, but I want a logo. And these days, I'm not sure if y'all know this, but logos ain't cheap. Now you may find
Mm-mm.
someone who will do it for you know a decent cost, but you gonna pay $200 for a logo,
Yeah.
basically. And so, for me, and I told someone this just yesterday, because I was not sure about business, I didn't even get an LLC until 2 days ago. And
Wow.
people were like, you? I said, me. I said, because I was not like, I knew that I was able, I knew I was smart, and I knew that I know what I'm talking about. But I'm not finna be letting the government tax my coins if this gonna be a side hustle.
That part. Okay.
So that, I struggle with that. But when we think about branding, you are everyone is a personal brand. And me realizing that has changed my life, because and sometimes it can get catty, especially if you're an educator. But I do think that people have to realize that, yeah, I'm a team player, but I am Kwinetta the brand, and I always made sure that I branded myself as an educator, and I will tell you how. So, for example, every year, open house, most teachers, you put on your business casual, go to your classroom, you wait for your students to come, you meet your kids, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not the Instagram teacher, I ain't that extra, but I'm talking about, it was an event, to come to my room for open house. Like, I spent money, I went, and I'm talking about, I got balloons. It was like, when you went to my classroom, I literally set the expectation at open house of what type of learning experience you were going to get in my class. So that was a part of my personal brand: extra, creativity, different. So when you are thinking about how to brand yourself, you need to think about what sets you apart.
Mm-hmm.
What sets you apart. I'm not sure if Sabrina knows, but my friend Lori and I, we talk on the phone almost every day, and we always talk about how Sabrina, when we think about Sabrina, we think about top notch. Like,
Oh,
you
I love
know,
y'all too. I love the two of them.
like nothing about Sabrina is going to be subpar, because that is who she is as a person. And what you do is, when you are trying to establish your brand, you consider what makes you different as a person. And then you begin to think about, and you break that down. What is your story? All right. How will that translate to people who you are trying to reach? You know what I'm saying? And so that is all a part of how you establish yourself. Okay. So for me, I think that when I began to establish myself, I wanted to make sure that I was establishing myself as a business consultant, but I wanted to put in front of people that I wasn't your average consultant. I'm, a 3-time degreed educator who is also a consultant, right? So what set me apart was my education. Now, it's people who got way more degrees than I do, but you don't find very many people who taught children who are now business coaches. You find people who have an MBA, or I went to school for marketing, I went to school, journalism, that type thing. But I was really able to, and I'm still am able to reach my clients on a different level, because learning and consistent learning. And I think that's all about what education is. We teach our kids, always be a lifelong learner. Don't ever stop learning. And so that is what I'm all about in business. And you have to brand, because, for example, I know we always talk about the bread aisle when we talk about, the market is so saturated, and this. But my husband and I, we are foodies. And I always say that in another life, or whenever we retire, we want to just like buy RV and just go and eat food because we gotta chill out because I'm getting too much weight. He getting too much weight too. But we have like when I think about it, somebody said this on Facebook, and I don't think it's true, but I get what they're saying. They said that Applebee's, no, Cheesecake Factory is Applebee's with a lace front. And that was to me that was such a good analogy. That was such a good analogy because technically you can go get the same type of dishes at
That is
Applebee's
so true. Oh
that
my
you can
God.
at Cheesecake Factory, right?
Oh my. I'm
But
done.
Cheesecake Factory, their brand is upscale casual dining, right?
Yep. Yep.
Now, when you go to Cheesecake Factory, you gonna have on something nice and you're gonna smell good,
Mhm. That's
right?
true.
But
That's
you're
true.
not going but you're not gonna quite, have on the tux, right? That's Cheesecake Factory, right?
Hmm.
Now, when you go to Ruth's Chris, you might have on a suit. You might have on a suit, but you may not have on a tie.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Now, when you go to the Capitol Grill, you might get real you might get real sexy to go to the Capitol Grill. So that's why branding is important because
That's good.
essentially, as a consumer, that is how I'm choosing what I want to eat. I'm choosing
Mm.
experience.
Mm.
Because I dare not, now I'm sure they may not turn nobody away, but I dare not go
Mhm.
to McCormick and Schmidt's with what I have on now. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying?
Wow.
Or I dare not go to the Waffle House in a tuxedo or a ball gown.
Don't do it.
So that's why branding is important because people are going to choose the experience.
Always.
People are going to
Hmm.
choose the experience.
Yep.
They are going to choose. First of all, people are often emotional buyers.
Hmm.
People are emotional, and let me tell you something. I am an emotional buyer. I gotta stay off of Facebook at night. I don't know how I'm being pixeled for some of these ads and things.
And they be knowing too.
They be
I'm
knowing.
checking my email. There goes them boots. How you get on my business?
They be knowing. They be knowing, and I'm growing weary with it because I was scrolling. I just took some braids out, y'all. Fat. I never let people see my natural hair ever. But
But
I
it's
was like, I'm gonna take these braids out, and I said, my natural hair is growing really good. I said, but I want it to be thicker, even though it's thick. I don't know. You know how we have our goals, whatever.
right.
So I happen to be I happen to be scrolling on Facebook, and I see this ad for this African powder that they turned into a grease. Yeah, I was so frustrated. And I ordered it. I ordered it. And I said, you know what? I said what they did was I'm not sure how, but they played on the fact that in my mind, I want to do something different with my hair. I'm not sure if I was searching on Amazon for hair, and that's probably how they pixel me into that. But me
Wow.
in that situation, I was buying the result. Okay. So sometimes people will
Wow.
buy experience, sometimes they will buy result.
Result.
Okay. Now, result is 99% of the reason why people buy clothes and or weight loss products.
Mm.
The result. Okay. I ain't been to the gym none this year. But let me tell you something. I done went and got me a waist. See, y'all just sometimes people think that
Oh God.
I really felt like, you know what? I'm gonna be skinny if I just buy this waist trainer. Right. And then the other night, I ain't done it yet, but I still am gonna do it. I'm gonna buy my resistance bands because I'm for real gonna do this Effect Fitness on Facebook Live in the next 2 weeks. I'm a real bucket down. I'm gonna eat next week, but for real, I'm by my resistance bands, and I'm going because I don't have no excuse because I'm home. And
That's
so I
right.
realized
That's
that.
right.
And so I have to
That's
hold
right.
myself accountable because I'm like, Kwinetta, this ain't it. This
Right.
ain't it, so it's so important to be able to tap into your mind as a consumer.
Right.
Tap into your mind as a consumer. Think about how and why you buy things, and I can promise you, you will be successful in building a successful brand. And do not let anyone, I would tell you this because I've struggled with this for a long time. Set your price, let that be your price. All right, let that be your
That
price.
part.
Because for me, I am I think the fact that I'm a teacher and people can pull up my heartstrings. Like I was that teacher, on the outside. You come to my class, talking about you ain't got your homework. My kids will always say, "Hey, Miss M, are you mad at me because I didn't do my homework?" I will always say, because if you don't care, I don't. That was me. That was me.
Hmm.
But those same kids will be like, "Can I redo my homework?" Child, redo your homework. Just because I really care and I really want people to be better. And for me, I have this drive and this passion because the fact that every day I wake up, I see myself actually doing it. It pushes me even further. And I look at people like Super Cent who sold out, I think it was about 3 years ago, $1 million in 30 minutes, right?
Yes, I remember when you posted that. I know exactly who you're talking about.
I said, in essence, this is a great example. This is a great example. Hold on, let me tell my husband to bring me this because I'm gonna give y'all a scenario. Let me see what he's talking about. Stop the TV. Okay. So essentially, she has a makeup business, right?
Mhm.
And her brand is the crayon case. So if you guys don't know what her brand is or what she did, essentially she wanted to make makeup application simple. So she wanted it to be, simple, like a school person could do it. So she developed her brand around that concept. So her palettes are like composition notebooks and binders and glue sticks and things like that, right? In the grand scheme of things, because I understand how the industry works. Essentially, she sourced her makeup from China, which is nothing wrong with that because people automatically think China means bad quality. That is not true.
Not true
That's not true at all. Because
at
if
all.
if you go look at half the stuff you buy, it ain't
Check
it
the
ain't made in
tag.
the USA.
Check
I
that tag.
I don't want to look at the tag and see where my Louis Vuitton bag is made. So I don't want to be let down. Okay, but these iPhones that we pay so much money for, and not made here. So
Okay.
essentially, what she's doing is she's sourcing her makeup from China. She was able to afford a warehouse, so she doesn't have to wait those long shipping times.
Mhm.
But people are not buying the makeup because the same makeup that she's selling is in Walmart or the hair store, right?
Mhm.
But people are buying the brand. They're buying into the fact
Mhm.
that, this looks like a composition book, or people are buying into that. So for me, I have this goal, and I said, you know what? I want to be what she is to my people because I believe that there are so many people that I know who have maybe a side business or who that are in business but they're not where they want to be yet, and in their heart they want to have a 6 or 7 figure business, and
Mhm.
they just feel like they don't know which direction to go for that to
Right.
happen. And I want to be that person to show, because sometimes it's not real until it happens to somebody close to you. Because for us, it's just somebody we see on Instagram and they've made $1 million. That don't mean nothing to us. But when the person you went to church with, you went to school with, you got their number in your phone, when they bring in 6 figures profit easy in 30 minutes, that
Mhm.
means something different for you, and that
Mhm.
inspires you. So that's what keeps me up. That's what keeps me always wanting to be better, because I have something to accomplish, not just for even those around me, but for my kids. And having kids is a whole different thing. Like I really, I don't want my kids to, mom, I didn't come up, broke, or I didn't come up struggling, but I struggle as an adult. And I don't want my kids, they're gonna have to struggle because I'm sure they're gonna make their own decisions. You know, they can't have a perfect life, but I want to show them that this is possible. The same way
Right.
Kamala Harris have showed us that it's possible to be a black woman and be the vice president. Y'all, that is a thing. Like that's a thing now. Like black people are sitting up here in the White House. Like that's going to be something that's going to go in the history books. And so
Mm-hmm.
I want, for example, I have a classmate who I went to high school with, and she is a real estate broker out in Buckhead. And I'm not sure if you guys know the difference between an agent and a broker, but the broker makes the most money, right? So the real estate agents pay the broker. And so she has $1 million company in Atlanta, and she has over 40 agents working underneath her. And she sells homes too. And I'm talking about she sells $1 million properties. And so I'm thinking the type of money she bringing in. This is the girl who I went to high school with. And so things like that motivate me not for showing off purposes, but to actually show somebody that you can do it for real. And I do know that hits different for some because, sometimes it's still far off. We can say, next year we will have a black vice president. And for some, that's tangible. But I don't work in politics. So that doesn't,
Right.
I'm excited.
That doesn't do it for me.
She's my sorority
Mm-hmm.
sister. Go.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not tangible for me.
For me. Yep.
So I want to be even more successful because I want to do something that is tangible for those who follow my platform, those who have been consistently sown into my business, and those who want to do the same in their business. So that's what keeps me up at night. I hope that something I said has helped y'all. I hope that something I said has inspired you guys. And I can assure you, if I can be in business, and I promise y'all, it cracks me up to this day because I'm not a mathematician. Like, I never thought I would be in business because I always thought that because I wasn't good in math, I couldn't be good in business, but I can count my coins. That's all that matters. Okay.
Hello.
That's all that matters. But if I can do it, and I'm talking about, I'm 100%, I'm not self-made, but I'm self-taught. I'm 100% self-taught, and with the help of the Lord, I'm doing this thing. It's scary some days. Like today was a day that I was like, I was frustrated because I'm tired a lot because I'm either, I offer services to people. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I don't want to talk to people. But when you offer services, you got to talk to folks. And so,
Right.
if I was teaching, sometimes this could be, it's almost Thanksgiving break. It could be, a watch this, do this worksheet type of day. I couldn't do that today. I couldn't say, don't talk to me. I would tell my kids that y'all don't talk to me today. I love y'all, but don't talk to me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But today I couldn't do that today. Like my clients was still calling, they still wanted to know what was going on. But I really believe that, when I journal sometimes or things I don't tell people, I really believe that God is giving me my own, story, not for social media, but he's giving me my story. So because people buy into experience, people want to know that they can relate to you because I can't relate to the Kardashians. Right. I can't relate to growing up not knowing how to fly commercial or not, but I can relate to someone who says, I used to, wait tables. I did this. I started my business, and now look where I am. So that's what keeps me up at night. And I'm always grinding, always, always, always. I think I grind too hard because I feel myself getting tired. But I'm gonna give me some rest. That's important too. You got to get some rest. You got to hear your body.
Right.
But I'm super excited. I do believe that there is so much more to come. And y'all, one thing I do want to add is, monetizing your mind is a powerful thing, not just, so that you can realize how awesome it is, but because y'all, it's passive income.
Mm-hmm.
It's passive income. I'll never forget. This happened to me about 2 years ago. I was sitting at my desk at work teaching, and I posted something on Facebook before I got started with my day. I did a sale for one of my courses that I had. And before my kids got done with the warm up, I had made $1,000. And I was like, this is why this is bomb, because you can be influential and you can really make money. So I would encourage y'all to really put in some research to, how you can make money on autopilot. How, and you can wake up in the morning and you can see deposits, you can see PayPal, Stripe, everything coming in, because y'all, we deserve to live this life. I promise you, this is not, living comfortable. I won't say wealthy. I mean, we want that, but living comfortable is something that we all deserve to do. We don't
Yeah.
all have to ascribe to, being stuck, being poor, not experiencing life. Like, I know Sabrine, if we wasn't in quarantine, Sabrine would be on somebody's plane going somewhere.
Child, child, I already got it planned. Don't play with me. It's already planned.
You see,
As soon as they say, then what?
listen,
Go.
that's real. And I even am learning to do that more. My husband has created a space for me to do that. Because when you become a wife and a mom, that's all you do, really. So he's helping me realize that, Kwinetta, you can still do stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna be doing stuff.
That's
Because
right. Let me know, girl, because you know I come.
listen, you only live once. And
That's right.
I don't want to be, someone that's living purely for experiences. But one thing that I always tell my husband, I can't, I need to have some good memories.
That's right.
I need that. Like, that's one thing I need. One thing I'm big on, I'm always big on creating memories. Like, my husband knows that he can go to the dollar store right now and buy me some candy, and he could turn on a movie, and that will do more for me sometimes than you buy me, something extravagant.
You're right.
And, those things about my personality play into even how I do business, y'all. Every single thing about my personality um is conveyed in how I handle myself in business. And I would admonish all of you guys to do the same and start really honing in on your personal brands.
I mean, y'all, I don't even know what else to say after that. That was just, I'm just sitting here thinking, okay, this is what I need. I need to go on here to do when I call. Like literally, y'all. And I mean, that's what I was telling you all. Like, this is life-changing information. You don't have to go down the rabbit's hole. You getting it directly from somebody who's been there and came right back out, with something fulfilling, with something tangible of what it is that she's experiencing. Like she said, she is learning each and every day. And one of the biggest things that I've learned from Kwinetta is that you have to invest in self. You got to invest in, that business, and not just time wise, but you're gonna have to invest some money. You're gonna have to break off some money. If it takes money to make money. I mean, people, let's just be real about this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I'm excited. So definitely, you all can see her Instagram. Follow her on Instagram. Follow her right now so that you too can get on the classy coach. Y'all need to get on her books. I don't know why y'all playing. And anytime people ask me like, who should I? Her and Lori. I ain't even gonna lie, y'all. Now, that's my personal dream team. Y'all be trying to take my space, but no, seriously. And that's another thing, you all, with small businesses, like, refer people, tell people about other small businesses. Don't keep that to yourself. Let's literally share the wealth. Let's let others know. There's some great individuals, especially within our community, who are doing some amazing things. And stop trying to get a discount. I ain't even gonna start on my soapbox with that. You need to pay the price. You need to pay the price, because people know their worth, because you want somebody to pay you for your work. So
That's right. That's right.
let's just be real. But Netta, thank you so much.
Anytime, boo. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
This is amazing. I know it's already live on YouTube, but I'm going to go back and do some edits to make sure that it's a high quality product, and then of course it's going to be out there for everybody to see. But you need to make sure that you need to go back, get these notes. I done made some notes for y'all, but you need to go back and just keep rewinding them. Play this even as you're laying down and you're sleeping, because get this stuff in your psyche now. Okay, get it in
Yeah,
you now so that you get up in the middle of the night, and when you have them God-given ideas, you better write it down.
that's
And I'm
right.
telling y'all, because there's something that we have coming. And I literally was in my room. I was like, okay, God, you nah, this is how I talk to God. I'll be like, Lord, now you tripping, Jesus. Now you know. This, I said, but I call her and she's like, oh yeah, we can do that. What? You weren't supposed to tell me that. But she did, and I needed to hear that. And now when I tell y'all I'm excited about it, I am so excited about it. Even before I was still writing as she was before we got on tonight. I was in class typing, okay? In the
See,
middle of my class typing. But anywho, my professor be all right. But Annetta, again, thank you so much. You all, again, her social media is on the screen, as well as her website. She has her classes on the website. Download. I mean, she has one class, yeah, that was very beneficial to me, and how to maximize with your email and using your email as a way to make money. Yeah, download that one. If you don't do no other one, download that one.
that's a good one.
All right, but Netta, thank you again, love
No
bug.
problem,
I'll
boo.
see you soon.
Take
And
care.
ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for joining us for our very last Think Tank episode for this semester. And we will see you all next year. Have a great one.